one of the things that was really appealing to me when I first learned about Self-Help Africa is that this is not just a model of giving some people some money and or giving them some charity, as it were, but it's really a model of using learning and innovation and the role that technology and so forth can play in that to actually sustainably help make that impact for people in parts of the world that historically have not had access to the resources or the learning or the science and the engineering and the technology and so forth. And so the fact that this organization is bringing that kind of not just resource, but also energy and I think inspiration into the countries that Self-Help Africa works in Africa is tremendously important. I think what's also clearly the case everywhere in the world, but especially in the countries that Self-Help Africa works in, is that it's the future generation of leaders and managers and entrepreneurs and business people and farmers and people in the food supply system that are really going to make that sustainable impact. So whatever it is that we can do to really not only support but inspire those future generations is really critical. And it's so fantastic that this organization focuses so much of its energy and its effort on exactly that mission.
I want to clarify, because using the word sustainable different from how it's typically used today. People say, is it a sustainable crop or is it what you mean was very important use of the word sustainable, that as you began, it's not just a handout, it's not just a gift, it is having people learn enough to take ownership of their own decisions as they go forward. And the sustainability is that doesn't require a continuous infusion of capital or of advice, because it becomes self-driven.
Right.
And it's the whole mission statement, right. I guess. Yeah.
It becomes what we would call a reinforcing system.
Yes. Yeah.
Actually, I have an example of one young guy who also participated in the MIT Sloan courses, and for her she did supply chain management. Mm-hmm. So her story is that she suffered on managing a supply chain when she was starting, and the produce from the farmers and then how she gets down to the market was a huge trouble. So after she went through the MIT courses, which was sponsored in partnership with Self-Help Africa, before I traveled here, I decided to reach out to her and say, how are you doing with the course? Did you implement the learnings? So she told me, Peter, you need to come and see what I'm doing. And you need to come and see the systems which I've put in place. And currently, I think my income has grown triple from what I used to get, simply because I improved on my supply system. And I was like, now, you're saying your systems has improved, and now you covered your losses and no longer there, you're moving towards high profitability. And then she said, yes. And then I was like, do you know other people who did not participate in that course and what kind of challenges they're still having? And then she said, there's a number of other people who were not involved in learning, and now they are struggling and I have to find ways of supporting them. So what I want to bring in here is the power of putting knowledge in the hearts of the youth. When you put knowledge in the businesses, I mean practical knowledge that they can daily utilize, then I think we end up positioning them in a manner that they can compete with any other person.